Perelman. Can you explain why Sarkozy's behind?
He wishes he knew, but he does not. Obviously, that was not the plan. Right now, Nicolas Sarkozy was supposed to catch up with the frontrunner socialist François Hollande and even get ahead. But that's not happening because his proposals on education, on crime are not playing well with the French general audience. And he was caught by surprise by François Hollande, who made a proposal last week to tax those earning over 1 million euro a year with a tax rate of 75%. And this was rather pleasant for an opinion tired of financial capitalism, bankers, and so on. And Sarkozy criticized Hollande, but realized that most of the French do agree with his rival. And so right now, he's trying again to veer towards the far right. And this is the perfect illustration, is the controversy over what's known as the halal meat. The halal is the traditional Muslim way of slaughtering the meat. And this was initially launched by Marine Le Pen, the far-right leader. Nicolas Sarkozy says, I'm not interested in that, but now he's saying, oh yes, I am interested in that, and we should really be careful about tracking animals to see which way they were slaughtered, and this is really a total reversal of what he previously said. We shouldn't stigmatize Jews or Muslims just by saying how the meat was butchered, so this has really taken center stage, and some people are wondering, where is Nicolas Sarkozy heading?
Do you think that his attempts to pander to the far right will end up backfiring on him then, Mark?
Well, that's a major concern within his own conservative camp. One of his advisors by the name of Patrick Buisson comes from the far right and has convinced him that he needs to go as far as possible towards the far right, get as many votes, and then come back towards the center for a second round. However, some in his camp are saying, well, this is too far. You don't have to run after Marine Le Pen, get on the issue of crime, immigration, yes, but with a more consensual way and not seize on an issue like the halal meat controversy, because you're going too far towards the right. And even his spokesperson, Nathalie Kosciusko-Morizet, who's more of a centrist, expressed reservations publicly about the way this was being handled.
So what can election watchers expect from this week?
This week is really the crucial week for Nicolas Sarkozy. He's going on primetime television tomorrow night, facing with the former socialist prime minister Laurent Fabius. He's going on talk radio Thursday morning to speak to people who are going to be calling in and express their problems. And then on next weekend, he has the big rally of the campaign in Villepinte, near Paris. This is really a hit or miss for Nicolas Sarkozy. If he doesn't produce something big after this rally, it's very hard to see how he can come back, whatever strategy he decides, if it's towards the far right, towards the center. This is really the crucial week for Nicolas Sarkozy. Next week, we'll know if he still stands a chance to be re-elected next May.
All right, thanks very much for that, Mark Perelman, our French politics editor. Is French socialist presidential candidate François Hollande being snubbed by right-wing European leaders? Reports say that 4 heads of state have secretly agreed to ignore him ahead of April's election.
On the campaign trail to be France's next president, François Hollande has visited Berlin, London and Rome. Yet the leaders of Germany, Britain and Italy have refused to meet with him. An intentional snub on the part of these European heads of state, according to Der Spiegel. Merkel, Cameron, Monti and Spain's Rajoy allegedly have a pact not to meet Hollande because of his promise to renegotiate the recently signed EU Stability Pact.
Have you seen how foreign heads of state are behaving during this election campaign? They want to impose their will on the French people.
All the governments named in the article have denied the existence of any such pact, saying that it simply isn't protocol to meet presidential election hopefuls. Sarkozy's prime minister dismissed the allegations as a joke.
François Hollande thinks he's more important than he really is. The idea that all of these heads of states have called each other to talk about him, well, no one who's ever worked in government believes that for 1 second.
Less than 2 months before the election, Hollande is well ahead of Nicolas Sarkozy in the polls. So this controversy was a welcome opportunity for the incumbent president to paint his opponent as isolated among regional leaders, hoping to gain some ground.
Let's take a look now at some news in brief from the campaign trail.
The French Interior Minister under fire again. For Claude Guéant, immigrants shouldn't be allowed to vote in local elections. His reason? He doesn't want regional officials to make halal meat compulsory at the school canteen.
We don't want regional laws to be out of tune with the central government. For example, the local council has the possibility to decide on the canteen menu, but a school is the temple of secularism.
Comments deemed racist, quote, nauseating by the socialist opposition. François Hollande promised that if he's elected president, he'll look into how animals are slaughtered. As for the centrist candidate, François Bayrou, he accuses both camps of scaremongering.
The issues discussed during this campaign are simply exasperating. Halal meat, slaughterhouses, as if these were France's problems.
Far-left leader Jean-Luc Mélenchon calls on his far-right rival, Marine Le Pen, to meet face-to-face, a debate she refused to take part in last month. Le Pen senior, Jean-Marie, says he's ready to step in, but the far-left declined his offer, accusing him of trying to rescue his daughter.
Well, it's time now for Faces and Places. France 24's rendezvous with French voters. This week, our host is Angèle. She runs one of the biggest fish markets in Europe. But as well as struggling to cope with EU fishing quotas, she's also angry at rising poverty levels.
Vous avez vu les quotas sur la dorade rose, là 200 kilos par jour.
This determined woman is in charge of France's second-largest fish market. It's Angèle's job to keep the fishermen in the loop and organise the sale of fish. In Lorient, 26,000 tonnes of fish were sold last year. It's less than before as the European Union is progressively decreasing quotas for deep-sea fishing. The new figure will be announced this year, and here everybody is waiting for the announcement.
Lorient strongly relies on deep-sea fishing. Within 10 years, the quotas have diminished by 50 to 70% on some species. This has a huge impact on the port's economic activity. The challenge now will be to find a balance between preserving fish resources and maintaining fishing.
But Angèle is concerned by environmental issues such as the TK Bremen vessel which ran aground last December near Lorient and threatened to pollute Brittany's coastline. The wreckage has been dismantled and the beach cleaned up, but Angèle is still furious, insisting regulations must be enforced.
I think port officers should be allowed to prevent a boat from leaving the port when a storm occurs, as it was the case then. There should also be harsher laws on the conditions of ships' hulls. Plus, the crew's skills should be checked regularly, so as to avoid these kind of disasters.
When meeting her friends in a bar, Angèle also speaks about the growing poverty among those who still have jobs.
It's unacceptable to see some people who are working being unable to pay for heating or threatened with being forced into bankruptcy. What I expect from a new government is to pay more attention to this sector of the population and find solutions.
But in the meantime, Angèle must now get some rest. At 4 tomorrow morning, she will be back at the fish market again.
That's all we've got time for now. Do check out our Facebook account. The address is on your screen there. Let us know what you think. See you tomorrow for more Campaign Chronicles.